Hello everyone, I am Professor Nayana Asne, Department of Information Technology, Parvatibai Ganba Mose College of Engineering, Vagoli. So in this session, we'll start with the control flow diagrams. In the previous session, we have learned about the data flow diagrams, how the data flow in the application or the system. So the name suggests control flow diagram. So in this session, we'll see how the control flow in the application or the system and what type of diagram are used under the control flow diagrams. So the control flow diagram helps us to understand the detailed purpose of the process or the detail of the process. It shows us where the control starts and ends and whether it may be and where it may be branch off in the another direction. Branch off means to jump. If the certain events occur, the control jump to the next state. So how the things are jumping from one state to another, or how the control is processed from one state to another. This all description is given by using the control flow diagrams. So the control flow diagrams are understandable by both the stakeholder of the system and the system professionals. So there are certain characteristics of the control flow modeling. So the first is the application which is driven by the events rather than the data. So we use the control flow diagrams in the situation or in the application where the applications are driven by the events rather than the data. Means the state are changing of the application by using the events and not using by the data. Second is the application that produces the control information. That means certain timers are there, certain interrupts are there, certain control information is there to transit one state to another. So certain depend on the certain information we produce the we have produced the information. Third is the application those process information in a specific time. In the specific time means certain timers are there. Suppose if the timer expires, then the process changes its states. If we take the example of this third characteristics, if you are using the net banking process, so while making a transaction, you will get a OTP while transaction. So you have to put that OTP into the net banking section or in online within some specific time which arrives in your mobile, right? So whenever the OTP is arriving your mobile at a certain time, from that time you will have to put that OTP into the net banking, right? Some 1 minute is there, some 30 seconds is there. So that is a specific time. If you are not putting the OTP into the net banking, then your timer expires, that is your session expires. So the control of the information changes its states depend on the specific timing, depends on the specific timer. So that type of characteristics are used in the control flow diagram. So we have the certain diagrams which uses the control flow diagrams, or we can say the characteristics of the control flow diagram. The first is the state transition diagram, or we can say the state chart diagram. Both names are the same. So the purpose of this diagram is to model the dynamic aspects of the system, then model the lifetime of the reactive system, then describes the different state of an object during the lifetime as the object changes its states in the object life. And the last one is the define the state machine to model the state of an object. So in the life of the object, or if you take the OOPS concept as an object, it changes its states in its life. So that things are modeled under the control flow diagrams. So before starting to the state chart or the state transition diagram, you need to understand the three things of the systems. The first is to identify the important object to be analyzed, means what are the object of that system that should be analyzed. Second is the state of the system, means to identify the different states in the particular system or in the particular application. And third one is to identify the events, what type of events may be occurred in your application or in your software. So some components are there for the state chart diagram or the state transition diagram. The first is the initial state, which is just a solid circle which says it is the initial state of the system, means from these things you have to start. Second is the transition. It is nothing but the solid arrow from one state to another. If certain event occur, certain timer occur, you have to move from one state to another. That is your transition. Third is the state. State represents some condition, some circumstances of the object of the class at particular instant. Fork is nothing but the rectangular bar which represent the fork notation. We can see the fork notation here. It means the parent class or the parent state is divided into the substate after the fork. Fork is nothing but to create. In OS you might have understand the fork concept. That is nothing but to create. Fork command is used to create the new process. Same as in the state chart, the fork is nothing but to create the sub things. Now the parent state, after making the fork call or after making the fork notation, the parent state is divided into the substates, that is the state B and state C. Then next is the join. Join is nothing but the two different states are combined to get a new state. Means there are certain conditions where two parent states are getting combined to a join to get a new state, which is the combination of state B and state C. We will have a state A. So this is nothing but the join. There is a difference in fork and join. Fork is nothing but a parent state is divided into two substate. Join is nothing but the two different states get combined to get a new state, that is nothing but your state A. Then there is a self transition. That means a loop to self state, means this multiple times the state A get called or occur. Then join we have seen previously. This is the example of the state chart diagram or the state transition diagram. We can see the initial state. These are the number of state, 5 states in this particular diagram. This is the order management diagram. So first, when the order is received, it is unprocessed. After checking the order goes to the accepted state. After accepted state, the fulfillment order. If the goods are not available or if the order is not available, some items are not available, it will go to the pending state. Or when the order comes or order get received and it is in unprocessed state, due to some occurrences or due to some reasons, it may directly get cancelled. So it will be directly going to the rejected state. And if the order is accepted, he will check for the items which are available in the systems. So if all the items are available in the system, it will go to the fulfillment state or it will go to the pending state. After arriving of that particular items, then it will go to the fulfillment order or fulfillment state, and then we will dispatch the order and we will go to the end. So this is the initial state, this is the ending state. Two states are going to the ending state. One is from directly to the rejected order and one is from the after fulfilling the order. This is the simple diagram. We can say more little bit complex diagram of the state transition, where you can have the example of the ATM system or the transaction system. So first, for getting transaction, for getting into the specific system, we'll enter into the state. After entering into this state, if we click on the cancel button, it will directly cancel the order. Or if we it will directly go to the customer wants some another thing, or invalid some invalid input is given at the first time, then it will be directly going to the ending state. Second, if he enters some specific things, some like some withdrawalment or some display the things, it will go, the message will go to the, or the control will send the information to the bank. After verification from that particular bank, if the pin is invalid, so it will give you the number of attempt. If in the first attempt you will prove the attempt, or if you are authenticated user, you put correct pin, then the transaction will get complete. If the 3 attempts expire, then you will go to the end state. Why? Because the 3 attempts of that pin is exceed. And again he will ask for some if you want some another just if you want to if you go to the ATM, there is after completion of your particular transaction, or after rejecting the transaction, there is a small message for that particular from that particular bank where you are using that ATM of that particular bank. So continue with the bank or know more about that bank. That message is getting printed on your screen. So that is nothing but asking the customer more, or asking customer what more they want. So after completion of the particular transaction, he will print the receipt. If the transaction is not cancelled, he will print the receipt. If he doesn't want to print the receipt, he will directly go for the what customer extra want, or what customer wants another transaction to do. Then it will go to the ending state. So this is some little bit complex diagram of the state chart diagram with one transaction initialized at the initial phase. So this type of diagrams can be asked in the examination, which are having the states and the states flow, or the control between the states flow depending on the events, how the events occur into the system, whether it may be the invalid pin, whether it may be the completed of the transaction. So next we'll see the last topic of your system, that is the last topic of your unit is the software requirement specification, that we called as the SRS. So the software requirement specification is the document that capture the complete description about how the system is expected to perform. So it is usually signed off at the end of the requirement engineering phase. So SRS contains nothing but the overall description about your system, about your software which is going to be developed. That is called as a software requirement specification. So SRS is the specification for a particular software product, a program, or a set of application that performs the particular function in a specific environment. So what information does the SRS includes? It includes the interfaces, the number of interfaces required, the information about the interfaces, whether there are internal, external interfaces, then the functional capabilities, what the functional requirements are there in the system, then what data structure has been used or have been going to be used in the system, then what are the safety measures, your reliability of the system, the quality of the system, some constraints and some limitations. Here are some characteristics of the good SRS. So it should be a complete, corrected, modifiable, then abstract level should be maintained, then some ambiguity, unambiguousness should be maintained, the design independence should be there, testability should be there, traceability should be there, verifiability should be there. So these are certain characteristics of the SRS, that is software requirement specification. There is some template given by your book, the template for the SRS. So it includes the introduction, the overall description, external interface requirements, then system features, then other non-functional requirements and the other requirements. So this is the basic template to write the SRS. For every project, for every software product, the SRS is developed at the end of requirement engineering phase, which contains all the information about your software. So in the introduction part, you will have the general purpose of that particular application, the project scope, the references, then who are the intended audience, some reading suggestions and all. The other description will be content, the project perspective, then the product feature and the characteristics, then design implementation constraint about the environment, some assumptions and some dependencies. Then the external interface requirements means the user interfaces, some hardware interfaces, some software interfaces, some communication interfaces, and their information is given under the external interface requirement. In the system feature, some description about the functionality and the priority. For some functional requirements, distributed databases, some client server systems or the client server architecture that is used. Then the other non-functional requirements, some safety measures are described, security reasons, security measures are described, security requirements are described, software quality attributes are described, and in other requirements, some indexes, appendices, glossary, then glossary and user manuals. So these things are being included. Thank you.